The airwaves of British television have long been a battleground for narratives that shape public perception, but few stories reveal the underbelly of media manipulation as starkly as the saga of Noel Phillips, Good Morning Britain's former US correspondent. His abrupt redundancy from ITV, amid sweeping budget cuts across its daytime programming, has sent ripples through the industry, not only for its economic implications, but for the troubling questions it raises about diversity, loyalty, and the cost of complicity in a media machine that thrives on sensationalism. Phillips, a person of colour, found himself at the heart of a storm, both as a journalist tasked with covering high-profile stories and as a pawn in a larger, more insidious agenda targeting Prince Harry. His departure from Good Morning Britain, alongside reports of Adil Ray's potential dismissal, has sparked internal concerns about the erosion of on-air diversity at ITV, a network that has publicly championed inclusion while privately navigating the complexities of a cutthroat industry. Yet, beyond the corporate reshuffling lies a deeper narrative, one of betrayal, irony, and a call for redemption in an era where media power can uplift or destroy with equal ease. Noel Phillips's role at Good Morning Britain was not merely that of a correspondent reporting from the United States. He became a figurehead in a media campaign that many have labelled as racially charged and deliberately destructive. The UK media, particularly tabloids and morning shows like Good Morning Britain, have been accused of orchestrating a relentless assault on Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, whose biracial identity and marriage to Prince Harry challenged the traditional image of the British monarchy. Phillips, as a person of colour, was strategically positioned to deliver critiques that carried an added layer of complexity. His involvement in interviews and segments that painted Meghan in a negative light, most notably his interview with Richard Minards, a man falsely claiming to be Meghan and Harry's neighbour in Montecito, served to amplify a narrative designed to discredit and isolate the couple. Minards, a controversial figure with no verifiable connection to the Sussexes, used Phillips's platform to call Meghan not an asset to our community, a statement that fueled tabloid headlines and deepened the public's polarised perception of the Duchess. This moment, broadcast to millions, was not an isolated incident but part of a broader strategy to undermine Meghan's credibility and portray her as an outsider, both in the UK and in her adopted home of America. The media's tactics against Harry and his family extended far beyond sensational interviews. UK tabloids and broadcasters, including Good Morning Britain, employed a calculated strategy to pressure the couple into compliance. They demanded access, interviews, photo opportunities, and personal disclosures in exchange for the promise of favourable coverage. Yet, this promise was a mirage, as the media continued to churn out negative stories, targeting not only Harry and his wife, but also their young children, Archie and Lilibet. The harassment followed the couple across the Atlantic, with figures like Noel Phillips reportedly playing a role in sustaining this narrative in the US. Reports suggest that Phillips was involved in efforts to sway public opinion and even influence political figures against the Sussexes, a move that aligned with the UK media's broader agenda to isolate the couple from their allies and supporters. This transatlantic campaign was not just about headlines, it was a deliberate attempt to erode the couple's social and professional standing, painting them as pariahs in a world that once celebrated their union. The irony of Noel Phillips's redundancy is impossible to ignore. A journalist who lent his voice and credibility to a campaign that vilified another person of colour, Phillips found himself discarded by the very institution that once elevated him. ITV's budget cuts, which led to his exit, underscore a harsh reality. Phillips was valued not for his journalistic integrity or unique perspective, but as a tool in a larger agenda. Once his utility waned, he was let go, a move that many have framed as karmic retribution for his role in attacking another person of colour. The narrative is a cautionary tale about the dangers of complicity in media agendas that exploit race for profit and power. Phillips, a black journalist, was used to lend legitimacy to attacks on a biracial woman, a dynamic that highlights the complex interplay of race and media manipulation. His redundancy serves as a stark reminder that those who align themselves with destructive narratives may find themselves betrayed by the systems they serve, left to face the consequences of their choices without the protection of their former employers. So the broader implications of this saga, they really do extend beyond Phillips's personal journey. The media's treatment of Meghan and Harry, well, it actually reveals a troubling pattern of systemic bias where, diversity is celebrated only when it serves a purpose. And then, the reported dismissal of Adil Ray, another person of colour at Good Morning Britain, just further amplifies concerns about the show's commitment to representation. As ITV navigates these financial pressures, the loss of diverse voices, honestly, risks undermining its credibility as a platform that reflects the multicultural reality of modern Britain. Yet the story is not just about corporate decisions, it's about the human cost of media warfare. Harry, who stepped back from royal duties in 2020 to escape the unrelenting scrutiny of the British press, continues to face attacks that question his character, his choices, and even his right to privacy. The media's refusal to relent, even after the couple's relocation to the United States, speaks to a deeper obsession with controlling their narrative, a narrative that challenges the status quo of monarchy, race, and privilege. As the dust settles on Noel Phillips's departure from Good Morning Britain, there is an opportunity for reflection and change. His role in the media's campaign should serve as a wake-up call, not only for him, but for all journalists who find themselves caught in the machinery of sensationalism. There is hope that Phillips will reconsider his approach, recognizing the harm caused by participating in narratives that pit people of color against one another for the sake of headlines. The broader call is for an end to the hate campaign against Harry and his family, a campaign that has been fueled by misinformation, envy, and systemic bias. Public figures like Prince William, King Charles, Princess Kate, and Queen Camilla have been urged to take accountability, to apologize for their perceived roles in enabling or failing to stop the smear campaigns that have plagued the Sussexes. The public, too, has a role to play by demanding media that uplifts rather than destroys, that seeks truth rather than sensationalism. In the end, the story of Noel Phillips and the media's war on Harry is a tale of power, betrayal, and the search for redemption. It is a reminder that the media, for all its influence, is a double-edged sword capable of shaping narratives that inspire or devastate. Phillips's redundancy, while a personal loss, is a moment of poetic justice, illustrating the fleeting nature of alliances built on exploitation. Yet it is also a chance for renewal, for Phillips to reclaim his voice, for the media to rethink its priorities, and for society to demand better. Harry's resilience in the face of relentless attacks is a testament to his strength, but it should not have to be. The path forward lies in accountability, in recognizing the harm caused by divisive narratives, and in building a media landscape that values truth over profit, unity over division. As the world watches, the hope is that this chapter will close not with more conflict, but with a collective commitment to justice, compassion, and change, a legacy far greater than any headline could ever capture.